What up?
All right, what's up, guys? So we are on our last day, and we're on Hell's Revenge right now. It's my first time on Hell's Revenge, but yeah, we're climbing one of these massive slick rock walls here. So we thought it'd be a good time to turn the camera on and just do a little recap of this just incredible week. I mean, we are so thankful we got to spend this week out here.
Yeah, for real.
It's just been really, really cool. Don't want to take out a side-by-side here.
Yeah, we're coming up on
Woo, that was a big hill.
some unmanned vehicles.
But yeah, I mean, Stu, so many, but what was one of your favorites from the week? Favorite moments?
Well, I'll start with like camping spots because I love camping so much. I mean, I love overlanding and off-roading, and I love these trails, but even more than that, I'm like, my heart is just like in the woods. So I love camping, but I loved just each of our camp spots were so unique and they were so beautiful, and each of them had their own little gem. The first night we were our first night coming out of Ouray, Colorado, we just found a really great spot in the valley. And what was that trail called?
That was Porphyry Gulch.
Porphyry Gulch.
So so the first night we camped out Poughkeepsie, and then that was beautiful. And that we actually did that in the dark. We set up camp most nights in the dark, which was funny because when we were planning the trip, we were like, okay, the days are gonna be long, but we're just letting all these side-by-sides go.
Yeah.
The day's gonna be long, but we're gonna, set up camp early each night and just have a chill night at camp, each day or whatever.
Yeah.
And that didn't really happen. The days were long and the nights were long.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground on this trip, but yeah. So the first night was Poughkeepsie. The second night we camped off Porphyry Gulch.
Oh, okay.
And that was, man.
They were just so beautiful. I mean, there was one night where, I don't know if you've already said this yet or not, but there was one night where I was editing some pictures. I was editing pictures from the day, and I looked over above, like just above this mountain, and I thought, what is that light coming over the mountain?
It looked like city glow over the mountain.
Yeah, or is that a plane or something, or is that a UFO? Like,
it was honestly kind of like, it was just really intriguing. We just were like standing there staring at this glow over this mountain.
And then slowly we see the moon coming over the mountain.
It was a full-on moonrise
and
over
it was
this mountain, and
unbelievable. I'd never seen anything like that before.
This descent is no joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this on camera. Look at that.
It's always less steep on camera. But yeah, the moonrise was ridiculous. I mean, that was just such a neat little moment. We're just like, wow.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
I'd never seen a moonrise over a mountain like that before.
Yeah, I'd say that's been one of my favorite moments so far. What about you?
Oh man, I mean, so one of my favorite things of this whole hobby or sport is meeting people.
Yes.
Off road. When you're traveling in general, it's really neat meeting people. But we've had some really cool encounters with some people on this trip that have just been really cool, really helpful. Like, we met this family with 3 super built JLs. They're from Colorado Springs. We met them on Poughkeepsie, and they were spotting us on the wall obstacle on Poughkeepsie, and then the next day we ran black bear with them, and they were super cool. But
yeah.
But yesterday, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. We'll go back, but let's talk about yesterday.
Yesterday, what on earth?
So,
oh my gosh.
Yesterday, so we set out to do Poison Spider. We thought that might even be our last trail that we did here in Moab.
Wow, this is beautiful.
And we're like, let's just do it. Let me get a better line here. Let's do Poison Spider, and I wanted to check it off my list.
Yeah.
And and we get up to the end of it. For those of you who know, it's an out and back. So you go up and you do the loop, and then you come back, and we got to the end of the loop. It's a steep hill. We got to the end of the loop, and we were like, You know, it connects to this trail called Golden Spike. Sounds like a cool trail. Hadn't looked up really what it was.
Man.
We knew it was one level more difficult than Poison Spider, but we'd made it through Poison Spider. We're like, yeah, what's one more number? Let's do it.
Right.
And 8 hours later, 12. I mean, it was like a 14-hour day on the trail total. It was probably like 10 hours just on Golden Spike.
It was, yeah. I started Gaia at the end of Poison Spider. I started recording on Gaia, and we were moving like 1 mile an hour, and we had to make like, I mean, sometimes we were moving less than that, but it was crazy. We bit off a lot more than we were expecting to chew.
And we chewed it, though.
We chewed it.
So we met up, speaking of people, so we met up with these two Texas Jeeps and one Virginia Jeep, and they were all out just having a good time like us. And it was also their first time doing Golden Spike. They also sounded like we're in the same spot. We're like, we just did Poison Spider, let's do Golden Spike. So we ended up being in this thing together until we didn't get back till about midnight.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. I mean, we had so much fun doing things with our rigs that we did not think, did not imagine we'd be doing. And your taco did incredible.
Oh, man.
I was so impressed with that thing.
I was impressed too. I'll tell you what though, it was funny. Caleb and I were on the radio and we're talking like, I was feeling discouraged because I was like, I don't know when this trail is going to end.
Right.
And I was just like, it's just getting harder and harder.
Right.
And then we met back up with these people, and I hopped on the radio, and I'm like, man, I'm just really glad we're not alone anymore.
Oh, I know. Yeah, because we were alone for a while, and we thought, let me side by side together. We thought, maybe we're the only crazy people out here. But then they caught back up with us, and we just did the rest of the trail together, which was super fun. I mean, there's been some unexpected things like that, like snow on the Rimrocker. The Rimrocker Trail also was just such a blast coming over from Montrose that way.
Yeah.
Coffee everywhere.
That's okay.
Yeah, the Rimrocker was amazing, and that was a big hole or something I just drove into. I should probably start paying attention, huh? Yeah, the Rimrocker Trail, guys, if you haven't seen it or been on it, I mean, it is amazing. I mean, it takes you from the San Juans to Moab, and you see that transition of topography through the whole trail.
Yeah.
And it is stunning.
Yeah.
But we had snow about halfway through that. We ran Elephant Hill in the rain. I mean, so some of this stuff you've already seen or will see on YouTube when I get a chance to edit the video of all this. But yeah, this is just an overview of the trip here, but it was there. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, I think we got to give a shout out to Shane and Austin and Ethan yesterday, because
legends.
They there was one we came across. You'll have to see on the Instagram. But there's I took a picture where we came across this obstacle, and all four of them.
Oh yeah,
Caleb,
the golden crack.
Yeah, golden crack. Caleb, Ethan, Austin, and Shane are all just standing around looking at this obstacle. And I captured the perfect picture. I was like, this is hilarious. It perfectly described what we were all thinking. It's like, are we going to make it over this? Especially the Tacoma. I was like, is the Tacoma going to make it through this?
And it did. We didn't even have to pull line. It just went across. I mean, there was a few moments where like, this is these vehicles are way more capable than we give them credit for sometimes.
Yeah. What's one thing you've learned, Caleb, on this trip?
This is something I kind of knew before, but I had no idea that even the beginning of how important having a good spotter is.
Oh yeah.
So I knew, a good spotter was important, but it literally came into practice so many times on this trip, just because of the difficulty of the trails. And the way I described it actually on Black Bear Pass that day was, it was Poughkeepsie. I was telling Jim, I said, this is really, having a spotter is like a good spotter is like equal to $3,000 worth of upgrades to your vehicle. You know, like every $3,000 or so that you spend on your vehicle is worth a good spotter, because really you can do so much in even a stock Wrangler if you have a really good spotter with you.
Yeah. I'll give another shout out to Christian with Jaws the JL on Instagram. Christian,
what a legend.
One of the best spotters out there. At least came in clutch for us. He definitely had a lot of really good lines for us to choose.
And patient too.
And yeah, so patient.
Very calm. Unlike me when I was yelling at you on whatever trail with Golden Spike. No, stay left.
Yeah,
stay left.
It's so important when you're spotting to just be calm, because the last thing you want to do is make the driver more anxious. Because you know the tiniest little bit on the gas.
Yeah, sorry, dude. You were very patient. you were patient with me being impatient. No, it was that was a big lesson. I mean, just the power of a good spotter. But and obviously just being prepared, doing your homework, you know, researching. The only trail we did that we hadn't done any research on was Golden Spike, and that was the 14-hour day. So like just doing your research ahead of time, knowing what you're getting yourself into. We were prepared gear-wise. We had all the recovery gear and everything that we needed to get through it. But yeah, we probably wouldn't have. I'm actually kind of glad we didn't research it, because we probably wouldn't have tried it if we knew.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that I learned on this trip, well, one of the many things, you said yesterday on the radio, Stuart, you went to off-roading school today. I was like, yeah, no joke.
Yeah,
totally. But I think one of the things I'm kind of walking away with from this trip, this being my first time really doing this intense off-roading here out west, is just like, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can spend money on when you're upgrading your vehicle. A lot of luxury stuff, which I love. I love those, you know, those nice upgrades that give you a more comfortable ride, especially if it's a daily driver, which for me, you know, my Tacoma is a daily driver. But
make sure you're getting yourself on camera.
Oh.
No, yourself.
Oh, yeah.
As you're talking. I interrupted his train of thought, sorry.
No.
Just making sure camera angles.
Yeah, you can fix it in post.
I'm gonna upload this as unedited. I'm gonna put parentheses, unedited.
That could be cool.
And it's not because we're cussing. It's because we're not
unfiltered.
Unfiltered conversations on Hell's Revenge.